Hey guys, this is Whitney with Lights Camera No.
What's up, everybody? It's Lauren, and welcome to a very special episode of Lights Camera No. We are talking about Zack Snyder's latest release, Army of the Dead, and I am personally elated to be here. Just
She's
elated.
so excited.
Tickled, even.
Yes, yes. We talked a little bit about this movie last week because I was so excited for it with the trailer and everything. The trailer like totally sucked me in with the music, and I've just been pumped for this movie since the trailer came out. I think I immediately sent it to you
You
and
did.
said,
You were the first.
"Watch
You were
this."
like, look at this. Check it out.
Yes,
I
can't
was like,
wait.
I'm in.
So this week I am in charge of the summary. Lauren will be heading up your trivia. Then we will get to the why would they do that, etc., etc. So in summary,
With Whitney.
yes. So Army of the Dead starts out with a military convoy. Convoy? That's right.
Yes, I accept.
Driving away from what is implied to be Area 51. And there's several trucks. There's two military men who are talking about what on earth they could be carrying on their journey to wherever. And they're labeled the Four Horsemen. They reply to their instructor as mothership. They're chit-chatting. We also see a newlywed couple who've just gotten married in Vegas, right outside Vegas. They're taking pictures. They get in the car, and the lady is like, let's get a little frisky. Let me do things to you with my mouth.
As newlyweds do.
And he is just lost in the throes of passion, doing 85 down this highway. And I guess he thinks that there's no reason to pay attention. So a tiny sedan crashes into a military armored truck and causes it to explode. And of course, this is the truck that is hauling the top secret, whatever. We don't know what it is. They're talking about it could be aliens, it could be, the Holy Grail, it could be the whatever, tons of stuff. They get out, and whoever was in charge of securing this container needs to be fired because it was very flimsy. It just flew right off that truck, and it breaks open. A zombie probably gets out. It's shot from so far away. I wasn't sure. I just didn't know. It looked like I was watching a movie in a movie with it was like I was watching, what is it called? Like widescreen within a widescreen. It was
Not
so far away.
not bitter at all.
So listen, I'm trying to remain neutral throughout this
She's
entire thing.
summarizing. She's summarizing the movie.
So Mothership is frantically screaming at the guy on the walkie-talkie, who was Michael Cassidy, who also played Zack in the OC, to get away from the payload, get away. Instead of jumping in their car, which was still fine because they didn't crash into anything, they decided to run into the desert, which, okay, whatever. Maybe they were in a panic. I don't know. Of course, Mr. Zombie comes to them, jumps up, bites one guy, rips his jaw off, and then gets the other guy. They
Which was
immediately
rough to see, like the jaw ripping off. I was like, oh no, am I
I
making a mistake?
I couldn't really see it. The lighting was so off because
Oh,
it was shot at dusk, which I read some stuff about that, like how he shot the movie and everything.
for like 5 weeks.
Yeah, how long
Yeah,
it took to shoot that scene.
wild.
Yeah. Uh so it was just kind of and maybe it was my TV. I don't know. I couldn't
I
see
don't
it.
know. I saw enough, like, to
I
be
did hear
disgusted.
I did hear some things that bothered me.
Yeah.
So they wake up and they go and they're looking over Vegas, the three new zombies. I don't know what happened to the other ones. He only turned two of them. The other people in the convoy, I guess he just ate them. I don't know. Or just left them there. Anyways, we've flashed we get the typical Zack Snyder montage. And I loved this part. At this part in the movie, I was
Yay.
pumped. I was like, yes, I am so excited. Like they've got like a Liberace impersonator. I believe it was Richard Cheese back singing. Okay. So it was Viva Las Vegas, right?
Yes.
So it's very, kind of funny and just, I believe it was a little bit of social commentary on how people go to the casinos in Vegas and they're just all kind of flocking and they're just mindlessly walking around and spending their money. And, you're seeing all these things happen in slow motion. Some of it's in slow motion, it seems like. Some of it's in regular speed. Viva Las Vegas is playing in the background. We see a helicopter crash into the Olympus. We see Zeus, who was, I believe, the main zombie guy who came out of the container. And he sees Hotel Olympus and this is my new home. I'm here. Mm-hmm. We get to meet several of the team, and they kind of did it in what reminded me of how they introduced video games to players.
Yes.
How they put the characters in front, they're like bouncing back and forth in the video games.
Ready to fight. Like, so here's where I came from.
Yes. So you see them, each of them are holding a picture of whatever, like their families or what they're most proud of. So you see Dave Bautista's character, Scott Ward. He's got a wife and a daughter. You see Maria, I believe her name was Rodriguez. She was a successful businesswoman. You see Vanderho. He was a graduate with his parents standing next to him in the picture. You see a soccer mom and her daughter. You see, and then I think that's pretty much it. Did I miss anybody in that one? I think that was. So they're basically just a paramilitary group that has been used to evacuate people that weren't zombies yet out of Vegas. And as they're doing this, they're blocking Vegas off with tractor trailers. Okay. So they block Vegas off, they get people out, and then you're done. Like you move on to normal life. And we catch up with Scott. He is approached by this gentleman named Bly Tanaka. You don't really know where he comes from, what he does. He has a gentleman with him named Martin. He says, I'll give you $50 million to go into Vegas, into my safe, and get my money out and bring it back. I need you to assemble a team. It has to have a safe cracker, and you need a helicopter pilot. Scott thinks about it for a little bit, decides, okay, rounds up his old team. So you've got the people that he sees that he was working with originally, minus the soccer mom, because she got crushed by a tractor trailer. She just knows a locksmith who has the greatest safe cracker in the world, just working there at a mom and pop shop, because that happens. And
it is a movie. Relax.
So he goes in, he's Dieter. He's a German guy. He is obsessed with safes, loves it. He's in. Goes to Mikey Guzman, a YouTube star who's known for killing zombies. He's in. Goes to my favorite character, Peters, played by Tig Notaro. She doesn't even have to know what it is, and she's in for $2 million.
Yeah.
So I wish I had written down the amounts that they
slowly decreased. Like first it was like 250,000. By the end it was, I think, like something like $25,000, like something ridiculous. And with each person it got like, you understood that's all you need to be in to go into this like zombie land. Okay.
Oh, yes. So in the meantime, we've also met Kate, who is Scott's daughter. They are estranged. They don't speak anymore. It is implied it's because Scott's wife turned into a zombie and he had to kill her, and Kate is angry over it. Kate is a volunteer at one of these refugee camps, which I was kind of unsure of what they were doing. You're not given a timeline at all in this movie. And without saying anything, I think I know why, but you don't know how long it's been since the zombies have taken over Vegas. You don't know how long these people have waited and if they've had any contact with each other since then. Right. But they're all up and raring to go to help. Except when they get there, he needs a way into Vegas. So he gets with his daughter, Kate, and she says she'll do it because her friend Gita, who was a refugee in the camp, has gone missing because she went into Vegas with another character who goes by the Coyote to steal some money from the casinos so that she can make a better life for her and her children. You get that there is a guard there who is just a bad guy. He's played by Theo Rossi, who I knew him as Juice from Sons of Anarchy.
Same.
And I love him, but he has played a lot of bad guys recently. And
he himself to that, I don't know, that like badass douchey persona.
He reminded me very much of the prison guard in the first season of Orange is the New Black.
Yes.
That's who he reminded me of a lot. So at the last minute, they're all getting ready to go in. Kate decides that she has to go in to save her friend. And instead of refusing, or she just decides to come, and Scott lets her. And the coyote also at the last second says, hold on, we need one more person. And she gets Cummins, who is Theo Rossi's character, who is a terrible person. He like rapes the women in the camps. He's just a bad guy all around. So I immediately knew what they were getting him for. Did you immediately know?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, because her decision was kind of last minute, or she made it seem like it was last minute. And then once they get in there,
I immediately, as soon as she said, hold on, we need one more person, and it was him, and I was like, oh, I know why they need him.
Sayonara.
So they get inside. They use Cummins as bait. They also mention that there's all these dead bodies around, and the coyote, who has gone in and out of this kingdom, as she calls it, she says they're not trapped. It's their kingdom. They rule inside here. And the game has changed. They're not just mindlessly walking around anymore. They get inside. They see all of these dead bodies that she refers to as shamblers, and says they stayed outside in the sun too long. But it's crazy to see what happens when it rains. So
to be fair, how often does it rain in Vegas?
I was so excited. I was like pumped. I was like, yes, foreshadowing. We're going to see some rain zombies, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm excited about it.
My body is ready.
Yes. I was excited. So I was like, that is some heavy-handed foreshadowing, Snyder. It's a little much, but I like it. So we also are introduced to a zombie tiger whose name is Valentine, who was one of Siegfried and Roy's. And Martin, the guy that, I'm sorry, I think I skipped this part. Tanaka sent a gentleman from his team in with them to to keep an eye on them, to make sure, I guess.
He was his head of security, and
so they don't steal all his money. Like they could get in there and just disappear. So I also forgot to mention that Guzman brought along two friends, Chambers and another gentleman, who, once he finds out it was zombies, was like, no, I'm out.
He didn't even make it in.
Did you?
He was at the debriefing, and
I liked
the briefing, and was like, no, I'm done.
I liked how they just let him go. They weren't even like, that they're performing like a huge illegal crime. And they were just like, you would think that they would have done something to make sure he didn't like say what I don't know.
But I feel like they're performing this huge illegal crime in like a society where like zombies exist. So you have to like remember the state of the world at this point. Like society is still standing, but you're able to kind of bend the rules a little bit.
Okay.
And technically, is it really a crime if, I mean, they're entering like an illegal space, but like it's Tanaka's money. So I don't know. The lines are blurred. That's all I'm saying.
You have to suspend your disbelief a lot in this movie.
Oh, I have.
So Cummins is taken away as bait by the queen, and you see him dragged away because they have to give the zombies an offering in order to kind of snoop around. And they're okay with taking him. They're fine. You don't know where he goes just yet. You see him being dragged away. They go to a hallway, I believe, to try to get down into where the safe is. And they run into a horde of hibernating zombies. And they have no electricity, so they can't see anything. Scott breaks out the glow sticks and is like, follow me. Well, Chambers, who is this badass woman who I loved, said she'd never killed a zombie before. She gets in. She's at the end because she wants to go behind Martin because she doesn't trust him. She said, I don't trust you to have my back. Well, he tricks her, gets her off path to go a different way as he throws a glow stick off path. She follows it, ends up accidentally waking up one of the zombies. She fights off 50,000 zombies and makes it out okay. Amazingly. I'm like, yes, she made it. gets out this window. There are 3 zombies on her, maybe. And they're like, she's gone. It's too late. Keep going. And her team is standing 10 feet away. They're like, don't worry about her. It's too late. It is like the scene from Community with Troy. And he's like, get off me. Like, he's just like walking his way through. It's like, no, guys, you could have helped her. You guys have killed so many zombies so far. And you're not like, Guzman was like, I just can't do it. It's like, you're a crack shot, man. That's what you're known for. You couldn't just taken them out. The 4 zombies that had
Maybe it was a gratuitous, like, we needed a death. Like, it's been a few minutes. I don't know. I just can't say anything that's going to make you happy with this death.
No, it upsets me because I liked her a lot. And I felt, even though she never killed a zombie before, she was really, really good.
She was really good at killing zombies for not having killing any zombies.
Yeah. Which, okay. I said, so she somehow escapes only to be taken down by 3 zombies as her friends stand by and watch, which is accurate. In the meantime, Martin convinces the coyote to sneak off to, quote unquote, get a vial of the queen's blood. But really, he just wants to cut the head off because guess what? We don't even need the money. Tanaka doesn't care about the money. He just wants the head of the queen zombie. Could have had that in the first 5 minutes, but we just had to get into the middle to get to the casino. So he can sell it to the government anyway, so they can make their own zombie army. Back at the safe, we learned that they've moved the nuke up by a full 24 hours, so they have to book it. And I just need to know who made this safe. Was it Acme? Because I was waiting for an anvil to come with it. Maybe Wile E. Coyote, because he's walking through and first there's darts, then there's guns, then the zombie gets comically smashed in between 2 walls as it closes to protect the safe.
See, my mind went to like, if I were to rob someplace, like, are they just trying to make me think I'm not capable of it? Or is this actually like, are they booby trapped like this? Like big safes like that containing that much prized possession? I don't know. We'll never know. How are we going to know?
Well, somehow Dieter knew, because he knew that there would be
brilliant man
traps. And Dieter needs no extra tools or anything to break into this huge safe.
He needs silence. That's all he needs.
Silence in his ears. That was it.
He's a talented man.
Yeah. So he puts his ear up. He didn't even need a stethoscope. Just puts his ear up to listen to all. There's 3 combinations. He gets it.
4.
Oh, were there 4? I thought there were 3. 1, 2, 3. Anyways, when all of this is happening, Maria decides it's time to confess her love to Scott, even though they've literally not had contact with each other since he asked her to join the team. They haven't spoken. And when they're trying to hurry things up to get away from the nuke, to get the money and get out in time, she's like, by the way, I've always been in love with you.
Well, because I thought she said, like, I tried to, I don't know if it was like after his wife got sick and died, or he had to kill her, or it was shortly after they like came out of their military operation, whatever it was. She said, like, I tried to be there for you and you wouldn't let me. So like there was some, I don't know like how much, but there was some kind of contact prior to this like operation.
It was just like this,
but she did say that she was doing it for him.
It just didn't land for me because the whole time it was like, but wait, you guys haven't even talked. Like the whole time you've been trying to get into this place, he wasn't especially looking out for her or anything. Which
no, but her motivation going into it was like, this is going to prove to him that I like care about him.
So she does that, and it is immediately killed by zombies that know how to use an elevator, because they come down in the elevator and it opens up, and
Zack Snyder loves an elevator. Okay,
they twist her head backwards, and then her vertebrae daintily pops out of her neck.
I hate
like a cartoon. It goes bink, like it's done.
Made my knees hurt.
Martin, despite having the head and could have left, decides to come back just to trap the team, I guess, down there so they couldn't escape. But he realizes the coyote has done the old switcheroo and switched out the head for something else. So
the money counter.
Just as he's very angry about this, the tiger he hates so much shows up behind him and delivers the most gruesome death of the movie, I think. Like he Valentine takes him out.
I did not enjoy that either. It pained me to watch, but also it was so satisfying because he was such a jerk.
He was a bad guy. He was really not good.
No.
The rest of the team tries to get to the helicopter. Guzman gets bitten, so he sacrifices himself to help the rest. So at this point, everybody's dead. Oh, I forgot the part where Vanderhoof fights Zeus, who's the head zombie, who has found out that his lovely lady was with child. And they went and cut her head off. And so he dug the baby out of her belly, held it in his hand, and it went from blue to pink.
Sweet baby blue, yeah.
And then he's just mad. He's mad because, you know what? These people came into my house.
Well, that was his baby, presumably.
My baby.
Yeah.
Yes. He's like the character in Death Wish. So he's going out. He's like, they're not getting out of here. So he goes down to find him. So this is all happening when the same time Maria gets killed. Vanderhoof starts fighting the Zeus, which I don't know. Why was he fighting Zeus when the entire first 20 minutes of the movie, they hype up his stupid saw that he never uses ever?
Oh, brother.
So another thing I was really excited about that didn't happen. There was no use of the saw except to saw through a concrete wall when they could have just sawed through that tiny little latch. They were like, no, I'm going to go through this wall instead. Seems more fun. Instead of using his saw to kill Zeus, he's like, I'm going to use my fist to kill him, even though he's super strength. Doesn't work as expected. Dieter, in a sacrificial moment, shoves him into the vault and shuts it. Which, why didn't Dieter jump in the vault too?
That should have. I feel like maybe, I don't know. I'm speculating here, but maybe Zeus would have just opened it up and gotten them both. Did he lock him in there? And
if that's the case, why wouldn't he have just
I don't know.
gotten Vanderhoof? Anyways.
Maybe he did lock him in there, and what happens later is what got him out.
They have 9 minutes left before the nuke goes off. And Scott's like, hey, Peters. Oh, I forgot the part. They drop the head. Lily, the coyote, is like, she uses the head as a way to stall Zeus so the other three can get into the helicopter and leave. The coyote feels a little bad because she's the one that brought Gita in, and Gita's missing. That was Kate's friend. So they have 9 minutes and decide to go explore a huge building that they've never been in before to see if someone might be alive with 9 minutes. Perfect. I love it. It's a great idea.
A+.
Let's do this. I'm in. So they fly over there. Of course, she's alive and she's in the first room that they look. Amazing. They get her out. They think Peters is left, but no, not my Tig. Tig comes back, picks him up. They jump in right as Zeus is coming up to the top of the building, and no one is moving at an excessive speed of any sort. Everyone is just leisurely walking to this helicopter like they're getting ready to go on one of those tourist helicopters around Vegas, maybe.
Oh, come on, fam.
Yeah, come on. We got plenty of time. So Zeus jumps on. There's a big fight where Tig gets shot in the arm or maybe chest, I believe. Scott suffers a nasty arm break.
No.
Ugh. And gets bitten in the melee. Kate ends up being the one to take Zeus out. No, she doesn't.
No.
She helps her dad, though. She helps him distract him with the fire extinguisher.
Yes, but Scott's the one that
shoots him. Head blows up right as the plane crashes because the nuke went off and the fallout the blast causes him to crash. We see Peters is dead. Never mention of Gita again, even though she was the driving plot of the last 15 minutes of the movie. We have no idea what happened to her. Never see her. Then Scott is bitten. Kate's crying. She knows what she has to do. And for the 27th time in this movie, we mention a food truck, and he's like, lobster rolls. And yeah, and Kate's like, yes, lobster rolls, perfect. And he's like, for the food truck. And it's like,
As
yes,
if you didn't
Scott,
know.
we get it. You've talked about it through the whole movie. We've gone from artisan grilled cheese to tofu to now.
Because that was his like thing with his
rolls.
daughter. That was his thing. Let Zack Snyder have his thing.
He turns into, which I will, that part does, the whole father-daughter story.
Yeah.
Kind of breaks my heart a little bit.
That we'll get to that, but it is touching.
Yeah. So she has to kill him, shoots him between the eyes, and she's in the middle of the desert crying. And then all of a sudden we go back, the safe is opening up to a destroyed Las Vegas with nuclear fallout everywhere. And Vanderhoof just gets out and leisurely walks through it to some trailer, maybe his, I don't know, gets in the car, drives away, goes to an airport.
I don't think it was his. I think it was just like the first thing he stumbled across.
Maybe.
And, like, because people keep their keys in their, like, you know, what is that called?
Oh, the visor thing. Always in movies. I've never done that.
Because me neither.
Nobody
but,
has.
You know, it's a movie. And naturally that's how he's gonna get out of town.
So Vandy walks through radiation, goes to the airport. Vandy, that's what I call him in my notes. Walks through radiation, rents a plane, realizes he's been bitten right as they are getting ready to land in Mexico City, which sets us up for the sequel. The end.
That's it. Now, do you want to get into the why would they do that next, or do you want me to go right into like trivia, which is kind of more of a like defense / explanation of the plot points in this movie?
I don't know. Which way do you think it would be better? Because I feel like we are definitely on two ends of the spectrum, but I am not opposed to changing my mind. I'm not like stuck here and determined to not like this movie.
I mean, I only have one major why would they do that overarching moment. So I'm fine if we want to like talk about do you have like 20?
Lauren. I literally have pages worth.
Okay, so like I have pages worth of, I don't know, maybe we should do why would they do that? Because then maybe my like trivia will address that.
Okay, yes.
So let's talk about why would they do that.
Okay, here we go.
My only really why would they do that moment was like Kate's obsession with getting Gita. I'm sorry, we're in the middle of a zombie problem. There's like the pressure of the nuke coming. We have a job to do. We have money to get. I don't care about your friend. Like it's a non-issue. It's a non-starter for me.
The worst character.
Kate or Gita?
Kate. She caused multiple deaths.
I wanted to like her, but yeah, like the whole Gita thing bothered me.
Yes. So starting off from the beginning, could a sedan really take out an armored military truck? Probably not. And not cause that explosion.
No, but like we needed a motivator for the movie.
No, you cannot use that. You can't use that. You can't use like, well,
what did you want it to be?
Something slightly realistic.
I mean, maybe a car could do that. I don't know.
Or it could have just
scientifically
a tiny sedan and an armored military truck.
Yeah.
No. At least not the way it happened in that movie. I would have rather had an animal run across the road and they wreck and it falls and like the truck turns over.
Truly Wile E. Coyote.
It was just very like that opening scene I felt was very Snyderish anyways. But and then you've got the military guys, the army guys. They are the most unmotivated. They all seemed very dumb. They were very unmotivated, even when they're like, get away from the payload, get away. And he's on his walkie-talkie and he goes, guys, he said we should like move away from it a little. Come on. And he's just not alarmed at all. And if you're carrying something that is that secretive and that big of a deal, and you had 4 trucks with you, which if it was that, what they were carrying was the zombie, why did they not have a helicopter thing as well following them? So it just wasn't realistic.
That's fair. I do feel like they keep everything very secretive though, and like people aren't in the know as far as like what they're like given orders and like they're They just have to execute them.
I agree with that. But if you're given orders that say to get away from this immediately, and
he's like, what did you say? I'm like,
yes,
dude,
yes,
move.
So at this point I'm still on board at this point in this movie, but I was like, well, that was weird.
Oh, good, because we're only like 10 minutes in.
Yeah. Who was in charge of tying that crate? That crate was terribly tied. It was terribly secured. It had 2 straps on it. That was it. 2 straps to hold a giant zombie hybrid that was created by the government.
Supposedly. Or was it found by the government?
Yeah.
And then we got to figure this out.
It was alien DNA that they experimented with.
But was it government created?
No
alien DNA that the government messed with, or was it alien DNA that the government found and then had to figure out what they were going to do with?
Yeah, I think it was the second, because you see the 2 UFOs at the beginning.
Yeah.
And
which could have lent themselves to the car accident that you have such a problem with. I don't know.
They the UFOs could have helped blow it up.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Some of these are just me being picky.
Some of these are just me being
why did they sound like snuffling horses when they turn into zombies?
Oh yeah, you were just definitely salty at this point.
I mean, they think about the sound a horse makes when it's pawing and snuffling. That is the sound that they make when they turn into zombies. They're like, and then they wake up.
Specific noise. Whitney's just real mad. Why did they sound like horses? Stupid.
Why did it change their vocal cords? Did becoming a zombie change their vocal cords? Because all of a sudden they open their mouth and it's like
me. I was just with my pillow, the wonder, of it all.
Why did they think that why were the tractor trailers enough?
I thought they were shipping containers.
Well, or whatever.
And maybe, I don't know if they filled them with stuff, but I don't know. They implied that they were heavy and that the shamblers were real dumb and
well, we still have zombies that know how to operate elevators. You mean to tell me they're not going to climb those walls and get out?
I mean, was it World War Z zombies where we're going to stack on top of each other? I guess not.
I mean, but they knew how to operate a damn elevator. They were basement level, please. Yeah. Why was that camp so close to
right outside the that I also I guess
risky
didn't understand. I thought maybe for some reason in my head I'm oh, they have to quarantine to get the zombie I don't know, a COVID situation. They have to quarantine for 14 days before they can be back in society. But that's probably just I've been locked inside for a year brain thinking this is normal.
I agree. I just didn't know why they didn't try to get them further away. It seemed they
were literally right outside.
Why couldn't you just maybe move them a little bit? Yeah,
their tents were right outside the shipping containers.
Seemed I would be afraid to go to sleep there.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is my biggest, not my, I don't know. There are I have so many issues with this movie. Why did Tanaka lie about the heist? Why didn't he just hire this team and pay them what he was going to pay them to get the zombie head? Why did he even need a team? Why didn't he just go? Well, I mean, I guess he didn't know the coyote existed, so he couldn't go get her. But the heist, this wasn't a heist movie because there was no reason for the heist.
But it was a heist movie because it was about a heist.
There was no reason for the heist.
Just because there was no reason, in your opinion, for the heist doesn't mean it was any less of a heist movie.
It's not my opinion that there was no reason for the heist. It is fact. He says we don't need the money.
The entire plot of the movie.
But Tanaka didn't need it.
For the people conducting the heist, they needed that motivator. They needed the money. Everybody had a different reason for obtaining whatever amount of money they were promised.
These people were willing to go in for $200,000. That is a very small value on your life.
Well, a YouTuber, yes.
Well, listen, what I'm saying is he could have offered them that same amount of money.
I understand.
To just do the head, and it would have gotten them out quicker. because
he didn't meet with each individual person. He met with Scott, who had the motivation to want to reconnect with his daughter and like give her the food truck and whatever. And then he went and trickled down. He needed a team though. He needed a helicopter pilot. He needed,
I'm saying,
I don't know, Mr. Razorman or Mr. Sawman.
Oh, Vandy. He said that, but what I'm saying is that Scott would have taken that money. They could have still gotten the team if, you know, if they felt like they needed that many people to get the head, and still it would have been less complicated. What I'm saying is that Tanaka adding in the heist made the entire mission way more complicated than it needed to be. So it didn't land for me because
you're saying they could have just like entered.
The mission could have been go get the head.
But they didn't know that it was going to be like they were going to interact with these zombies, or like that there were multiple types of zombies in there, because there's the shamblers and there's the alphas, which they wanted the blood of the alphas.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know that until they got with this coyote woman. So like everything was like a building block almost. So I do understand where you're coming from, and it does make sense, but nobody knew how easy it was going to be to come into contact with an alpha.
Yeah, but
pop in, pop out.
But that doesn't even change the reason, like, to get, that doesn't even change anything. They don't even have to know how easy it was going to be. That could have still just been the mission, and they could have been pleasantly surprised. And it wouldn't have changed anything for any of them, because they were so desperate for money. They were like, yes, we will do it. I don't care. Tig's character didn't even need to know what she had to do. She was like, yes, I'm in.
I love her. I love her so much.
I do too.
I'm so glad she was in this movie and not
Chris D'Elia. Real pissed about the shamblers that were out in the sun, and I didn't get to see any rain zombies.
I had the same thought as you. I was like, oh, here we go. Some mega foreshadowing. We're going to see some like crazy rainstorm, and it's going to be like, I thought it was going to be like the last stand for them. Like they were on their way out and they were going to have to, it was rainstorm zombie problem. Yeah. But I wasn't even mad that they didn't even bring that up again, because there was so much else happening. I was just like, I was pleased. I was pleased. Are you frozen?
I cannot, because the opportunities that Snyder had for a popcorn movie, he didn't even take them. He did not.
But maybe they'll come up somewhere else.
That I think that this excuse is bullshit. And I feel like Snyder in his time loop, he was waiting for the internet to do his job. I'm going to throw this in there and see what happens.
I don't know.
It's my theory.
I don't know. I want to hang out.
Why did no one help Chambers? Could have saved her easily. I feel like we've already gone over
I feel like we needed a death at that point.
Why did she not rat out Martin as she was?
That I agree with.
Why didn't, as she was going down and the three zombies that had her, be like,
he's a liar.
He's the one that killed me. He locked me in the basement. Also,
that I agree with.
Shooting that a gas thing on her back would not have caused an explosion.
Oh my God.
The fire just would have went out.
Now, see, this is just one of those points where you're just like salty. Man. You're salty. And that's, you have one more. You have one more free pass.
Well, I got a lot more. I just felt like he dropped so many hints of things that were going to happen that didn't like, why did we focus on the helicopter not working so much for it to only work perfectly when it was needed? There was zero tension.
I feel like it did create tension. Like you were like, oh no, like that's a problem.
Not in the moment.
Like he threw other things in your face that were like, oh, this is more pressing. Like, let's pay attention to this. At least that's how I viewed it, because I did have the same. I'm like, oh my God, the helicopter's not working. That's how we're getting out of here. Wait, what's happening over here? Maybe I'm just ADHD. I don't know.
Why weren't the people like, okay, we've got 10 people on a helicopter and we have to get $200 million out.
Oh my God, we already discussed this. It's a good thing they did not get all the money out the vault.
I'm just saying
they didn't even bring enough bags to do so, and I thought that going into it. I'm like, they're clearly not, like they're allowing some like margin of error here. Like they're assuming somebody or multiple people are gonna die. They're assuming they're not gonna get all. Do you see how much money is in that vault? They did not bring enough bags for that.
It would be 550 pounds each.
That's a lot of
for
poundage.
them to carry it.
It's a lot of poundage, but
no one thought of it though. That's what I'm saying, is that would have been another like hint to them. Things were not as they seemed. Nobody like thought, and it bothers me that when characters don't have this, they were oblivious to Martin, it seemed like, besides Chambers, and that's why he killed her.
Maybe this was all a simulation.
I'm just I was real mad about Bandy never using his saw. I was real mad about it. Why did he keep it buried in the desert in a barrel?
Maybe he thought after he had used it in the like opening montage, the very badass moments that he did use it in the opening montage, he like maybe
the one time he used it,
he was never gonna have to need it again, and he like wanted to put that behind him. That's what I took from it. Like he's like, this is a life that I'm not gonna have to deal with zombies anymore. They're gonna nuke this, like they're gonna deal with this Vegas problem. I'm done with that. I'm done with that life.
He certainly remembered exactly where it was.
Yes, he did.
Went right back to it. I was waiting for some awesome zombie kills with that saw, and he didn't even use it. It was the coyote who used it.
On a wall.
On a wall instead of the latch.
I wasn't even mad. About it.
My other big thing is that how long it took Vandy to turn it.
They addressed that though. They addressed that.
Who?
It's addressed that there's like different transition periods for each person depending on like whether you're scratched or you're bit. I don't know if it was like in the news, like you overheard it though. And they talk about how the time period, but also, as if that weren't enough, he was in that safe and they dropped a nuke on Vegas. I don't know if like some nuclear reaction had anything to do with his like slow transition.
Well, he suffered 0 radiation burns. He walked through it. That would have killed him.
Right, but he was also like bit by a zombie. So he's got two things kind of working.
But are also zombies are already decaying.
True.
He just sped it up.
But was he bit by an alpha? I don't know, because they're like superhumans.
And well, why didn't Dieter get in the vault too? Why was Dieter such a good shot and we never hear that again? Why are we talking about the food truck so much? Why are we just, I have so many questions. And if the answer is going to be this stupid time loop theory, which
we already talked about the food truck thing because that was his whole motivation. That was him and his daughter.
But
and also
I know. It's gonna be the time loop. It's gonna be the time loop.
What's gonna be the time loop?
That's the answer.
The food truck is the time loop? No.
Yes, like the food. No, not the food truck. Isn't the time loop? But if you catch on my third time watching this movie, I caught several times when they would say things that didn't add up. And I know, like, for one, I'm bitching about the only one that I caught for sure that didn't make sense was the 9 minutes, because they did say the 9 minutes when they were getting into the helicopter and you see them get to the Olympus. So I don't know how that part works. There are other parts where they say things about time and it doesn't add up. And they say things that do not make sense.
Obviously lends itself to the time loop.
So at one point he says, on my next food truck, which, did he have a food truck before? I didn't think he did, but he says my next food truck. So, but if it's a time loop, did he have a food truck in a parallel universe? I don't know. And they say things like, okay, we have an hour and 20 minutes till the nuke drops. And they say, Dieter, how long is it going to take to get the safe open with your magic ears? And he says 30 minutes tops. As soon as they crack that safe and get in there, when they come out, they have 20 minutes left. And in real time, they have 20 minutes and it's over 30 minutes before the end of the movie. So that doesn't add up.
Yeah. Time loop.
But I don't feel like, and I don't know if I don't want to like steal your trivia or whatever, but I don't feel like the time loop is an acceptable answer, because it didn't feel like Zack Snyder knew what he was doing. It felt like he was throwing in a bunch of stuff to see what stuck and to see what people start talking about.
Oh, you're not stealing my trivia. And we'll get to that. I need to pause though really quickly. I have to be really bad.
Okay.
And then we can get to my trivia slash defense of this movie, I guess, if you want to call it. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm back.
Back.
Okay.
Okay, ready.
Okay. And now it's time for Lights Camera Trivia, or in this case, Lights Camera Defense of the Defense Against the Dark Arts. Okay, so this was like a random thing that I noticed because I watched Dancing with the Stars, but there were like two really weird cameos in the beginning of this movie when they were talking about the need to like nuke Vegas or whatever. But Sean Spicer, who was on Dancing with the Stars, and Donna Brazile, and I learned that they were two like political failures, I guess if you want to call them, from like videos that I watched about this movie. But they appear in a news clip, and it was just like I don't know, it was kind of a jab at them because they are political failures.
Yeah. I was
like, what a weird inclusion.
Well, I was shocked Sean Spicer was okay with doing it.
I think he'll do anything at this. He's done Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point.
And we mentioned this briefly earlier, but Tig Notaro replaced Chris D'Elia because of the whole sexual harassment accusations in 2020. He got fired, and I commend Zack Snyder and his team for like having to reshoot because they had already filmed all of the scenes that this helicopter pilot was in, and Tig Notaro had to do everything like on a green screen, and they made it work.
Actress, I think once, and that was it. The actress that played Maria.
That's insane to me. That blows my mind.
Well, if you catch it through the movie, they refer to her as him sometimes. They'll say him.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
watch it 3 times.
You'll watch it 3 times. You'll catch these things. I just thought it was cool that, you know, Chris D'Elia went through this whole like civil suit for what I call sexploitation. Netflix was willing to like fund the shots getting reshot, and then a gay comedian who stands up for women's rights like stepped in his place. I was like, yeah,
I know,
women.
I love her. Anyways,
so I need to address the like alien nature of these zombies. You mentioned the 2 orbs that shoot across the sky as they're leaving Area 51 in the beginning. The conversation that the 2 people transporting or at the head of this convoy, the 4 horsemen, they're talking about aliens. But then like you see some of the zombies have this blue blood and brain matter that kind of hints at this was either like an alien experiment, government experiment, or like alien life form.
A lot of people thought they were robots.
Well, some of them were, which...
Oh, was that confirmed?
Those were separate entities. The robot like zombies that everybody is like bitching about. Snyder says there could be one of 2 things. Yeah. Either the government placed these robots in Vegas to monitor the situation, or their technology from another world. We don't know yet.
Okay, then maybe I missed them because I was thinking the robots with the blue, or the zombies with the blue eyes.
There was only I think I saw 2. I spotted 2 instances. One was in like when he was coming out of the like Olympus, I don't know, pool area. You saw one, and then the one that got shot in the face in the casino.
But it was just a blue eye, right?
Yes.
See, I just took that as the aliens because they were also blue, and when he blew Zeus's head off in the helicopter,
that was blue blood though, or like brain matter, different.
I just thought it was all the same. I just took them. I thought they were all
It could be alien technology that is in line with this whole alien zombie type thing. I don't know. I don't know. Those are questions that might be answered in the prequel movie, which I'll get to. I need to address Zeus. His backstory, which you see him walking up to the Olympus in the beginning, but his backstory, his entire like character arc is like outlined on the marquee of the building. I don't know if you caught that in your one of 3 watches.
I didn't catch it, but I've read and watched several videos.
Okay. Yeah. So I thought that was cool. And then obviously he's named after the statue of Zeus standing outside of the building.
Well, did you catch his dog tags?
Yes, that was my next point.
Sorry. I didn't mean to...
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm glad you noticed his dog tags, because at first I thought he might be some sort of military experiment, because when we first see him, when he tumbles out of the poorly secured crate, he has that buzz cut that's like the signature military look, and he's wearing dog tags. So at first I'm like, is this a military experiment, or like, is it something that the alien, like, did the aliens pick up a military guy, experiment on him, and drop him back off? I don't know.
No, my guess is that because they were this is just my theories. They were coming from Area 51. They had some sort of alien DNA or something that they were testing.
They like pogoed on him. They just injected him with pogo blood and called it a day.
Said, let's see what happens. Nothing good.
The other thing that I read in like a roundup of Zack Snyder references in this movie. So Zeus wears this like kind of half helmet mask. That was supposed to be maybe a nod to Batman, and then his cape was like a Superman kind of thing. I don't know.
I could not get on board with that cape.
But like one of Tig Notaro's best lines was like, is that zombie with cape?
Yes. Because where did he get the cape? And why did he get the cape?
Maybe he saw like all the Grecian like art in the
I honestly, the least of my problems were the zombies and what they could do, because even before I read about, I did not notice the UFOs the first time.
Neither did I.
So before I read anything, I just took everything that the zombies could do with a grain of salt, because I was like, oh, they're government zombies. Like, they're government engineered zombies. They can make them do anything.
I still had the implication that they were like some sort of alien
hybrid,
though, because they were leaving Area 51, and then all that conversation was real heavy-handed on the alien commentary.
But
I was like, all right, my people. I
just thought, oh well, they're government engineered, they can make them do whatever they want. So all bets are off with these zombies. It's not going to bother me. And it didn't. The zombies really didn't bother me with this movie.
They were cool, and I really liked how they used kind of like an evolution of zombie. Like, there were the shamblers, which are like our stereotypical zombie that we're expecting, but then there were these alpha zombies. And the other thing that I really liked about this movie was that they were zombies living in a society that like hadn't completely fallen. Like, normally we're used to like, oh my god, zombie outbreak, society has fallen, there's no government, there's no this, there's no that, but they were like contained in a space, and I thought that was really unique.
Well, also that whole part, I believe, was kind of a head nod or hat tip or whatever you want to call it to Aliens,
which I love.
Yeah. Well, no, the movie Aliens.
Also,
the second
they quote that too,
because she says you don't see them screwing each other over, which I believe is the line from Aliens, right?
Wait, where is it? I'm
pretty sure it's right. The coyote says it, and she says something, and here the rules are clear. We don't see them screwing each other over.
They aren't effing each other over for a goddamn percentage, is what she says.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So that was a little bit, which that whole storyline is also very similar to Aliens, because
there were a lot of nods to.
If you haven't seen Aliens, they send them on a fake mission.
Right.
Like, they send them on a fake mission saying that they have to save the humans, but really Paul Reiser's character's, whatever company he works for, is trying to get a human infected with an alien baby in their chest and bring them back.
Sound familiar?
Why? Sounds terrible.
I feel like you appreciated the zombie horse and Valentine the zombie tiger. No?
No, I thought the tiger was cool. And I read that a lot of it was an actual tiger, like that they had just maybe added CGI effects to make it look, but like that they used a real tiger, I believe.
Well, it was a person like mimicking tiger behavior, but they did work with Carol Baskin to
Oh, then maybe I'm
understand
wrong.
the horse was real. The horse was named Ace, and he wore a costume on set, and bless him, he was a real horse, and they put this safety suit on him first, and then they put his little like zombie
Oh,
prosthetics on, and he like pranced around set like a
I love
king.
it.
Ace, I was like so pleased to learn that they used a real
So
horse,
the
and he was
tiger,
so cooperative.
so the tiger wasn't real at all.
The tiger was completely CGI.
Oh, well then maybe, well, good on them because I thought it was real. Like
And
obviously
the
it
like
didn't
when
look
he
like that, but I thought that
right.
they had added the animation type, like just the effects to their costume.
No, it was a person in a green suit, like jumping around, and I don't know how this person moved this way, but I watched like a behind the scenes thing, and his like legs were bent in such a way that literally mimicked a tiger's. My
How
mind
did
was
that
blown
person not feel like an idiot?
because he was completely cloaked in green. He was like, nobody knows who I
Nobody
am.
look at me. Don't look over here.
They did like literally Carol Baskin, like my dear friend Carol Baskin is consulting for Zack Snyder movies. So happy for her. Okay, here comes my section on Vandero, played by Omari Hardwick.
Oh, he is a delicious looking man.
No relation to Chris Hardwick, but
No.
him, this probably seems obvious now in the conversation, but him mentioning the multiple timeline theory is obviously a nod to the nihilistic ending of this movie. They address his transition time, which we also talked about earlier in the movie. They say that somebody makes a comment. I don't know if it was on the news or what, but there's like a background comment where somebody says
Did you hear it?
the zombie, yeah, somebody, I feel like it was a female voice, but somebody says like the transition time for each like victim is different. And again, his could have been impacted by the nuclear blast that he survived or walked through the aftermath of. He also has an Omega tattoo.
He had that previous.
Right. He
But
had that.
It worked well.
You saw that when he was digging up his saw that he never used, which obviously Omega means end, or he was going to bring on the end times.
Or yeah, like they call the other ones Alpha and
right.
Omega.
He's the Alpha and he's the end, which is a nod to the Book of Revelation. Mm-hmm. But he also has that quote that he recites in the vault, the Campbell quote about the hero's journey and the beginning and the end. It's this whole dissertation he gets into with Dieter
about rebirth.
Yes, and how and the time.
I remember
the time
Dieter
loop.
saying that. Okay, yeah. The time loop.
He's like, "What if this is all just not a simulation, but
yeah."
Anyway, the character arcs, which I feel like I don't know, how did you feel about the characters in this movie? You didn't enjoy any of them.
I didn't feel like I got to know them. I didn't know any of them. They gave them very stereotypical backgrounds of, that I just wanted to know more about them or get to know them more before they died. And it didn't happen. I didn't know Vanderhoof or how his and Scott's relationship was before they sent them back in on this mission or anything like that.
See, I feel like I got enough of, because it was such a big cast that they like gave everybody enough of a taste that, I don't know, I was satisfied with it. But there are more character arcs in this movie than there are in Dawn of the Dead, of which everybody is like here, like flatlined. Now maybe Kenneth has an arc, perhaps, but there are more character arcs in this movie.
Well, what's Guzman's character arc?
I don't know. He maybe not him. He's a terrible example. But like, I don't know, Scott and his daughter.
That doesn't let me get to know him. It's just like something that happens to him.
That's the character arc. Just the
But
person. I think you're misunderstanding what I mean by
well,
character.
there's not like he has like a low and like reaches like a climax of like how he I guess
no redemption tale.
Yeah. Okay.
Greed was the motivator in this movie for a lot of people, whether it was monetary greed or in Scott's case, he just wanted to regain that relationship with his daughter. And we did touch upon this earlier, but I feel like this was Zack Snyder's way of like paying homage to his daughter died by suicide. And maybe like Scott's relationship and him fixing his relationship with his daughter, I feel like is Snyder trying to be there. Like if he could have saved his daughter, this is like what it would have looked like.
Yes. I appreciate this, and it does make me feel very sad for him that happened to him. That's a tear. I would never wish that on any person to lose a child, but it felt like it made the movie more bloated. It felt very unneeded. It didn't add anything to the movie for me personally. Fair enough. It was just, we could have cut those scenes out and it wouldn't have changed anything about the movie.
That's fair.
So that's part of the reason I was like, and she was just awful. She was so bratty and so terrible.
Her like need to save Gita just
that was another thing, another character that you didn't get into. Were they lovers? Were they just best friends?
I expected them to like make out at some point.
But it's never explored more than she says that she needs to find Gita, argues her way into the kingdom, and then the last 15 minutes of the movie we're worried about Gita, and then zero resolution of that because she dies, but we don't, which I understand. I read why we don't see her, or we don't see her death. Yeah. It was because she was sitting in the front seat did you know this? That she was sitting in the front seat of the helicopter? Yeah. So all of her end scenes were with Chris D'Elia, and there was no way to cut her out, I guess, or to cut him out. So
but maybe it wasn't important, because I feel like if it was important, they would have addressed it.
What wasn't important? Her death?
Yeah, like however her story resolved. Maybe it bothers you because you don't know, but like maybe we weren't.
Dude, and they shouldn't have made a hard push for 15 minutes of we got to save Gita.
But that was the whole like that needed to happen in order for like the pressure of getting out of town. Like it's like
I get
dominoes. It's dominoes.
Get it? Bad choice. Could have gone with something else other than Gita if we weren't ever gonna.
Let me talk about the safe.
Okay.
It was named
from Acme.
The Goddamn or whatever, which the Norse translation of it is Ragnarok. Which
I know, I love that.
We all know means end of days. I was like, oh, and the music that they play when they finally like break into it is from that opera. It's from the final act of that opera, and it's a funeral march, which like I like nerded out over. I was like, I didn't know this. I love context.
But I was having a conversation today with Brian.
Oh no.
We were talking about this. Did you find the soundtrack or the score or whatever you want to call it in this movie very, very lackluster?
Oh my God, I loved the soundtrack. Every song choice on it, I was like, yes, 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 yes.
There weren't there wasn't a single memorable one except for the first one by Richard Cheese. And then in the elevator, the Boy George song that was playing, but there was no.
Do you really want to hurt me?
But like when the music was just so bland, there was no added tension. Like when she was going through the hibernating zombies, I should have been on the edge of my seat. I was trying to make myself nervous for her, and I could not muster it.
Oh, I was stressed.
Oh, I wasn't at all. I was just like, whatever.
I was
like,
stressed.
Why are the zombies hibernating anyways?
I feel like you were just like salty. You were just mad at this point.
I'm telling you, I'm not alone in my feelings of
this. I know. I'm not discounting. You're entitled to them. I celebrate your feelings. I disagree with them wholeheartedly, but I celebrate them.
Yeah, I was pumped for like exciting music like he had in Dawn of the Dead.
That's another beautiful soundtrack, but we already talked about that.
Yeah.
I'm almost done here, I promise.
No, you're fine.
In the end, as you mentioned, we're landing in Mexico City with like a new alpha, And Snyder had said that another alpha landing in Mexico City is a, quote, harder city to build a wall around, which, like, there's your political commentary, because they built a wall around Vegas. Anyway, the live action prequel, Army of Thieves, is already filmed. It stars the guy that played Dieter, Matthias Schweighöfer, which is like excessively German, and I love it. But he stars in it. He directed it, which I'm excited about.
Who directed it?
The guy that played Dieter, who also stars in it.
So Zack Snyder has nothing to do with it?
I feel like he had a hand in it. I didn't like do a deep dive and like see what exactly his hand was in it, but it was directed by.
I find it an odd choice to have him be the star of the prequel.
I really liked him.
I liked him a lot, but he didn't get very much screen time.
Because he is probably he's the star of the sequel. Maybe that's why. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
It has been described as a rom-com heist movie set in a zombie apocalypse, so you're probably going to hate it.
I won't hate it if there's actually a heist.
And there's also going to be an anime series that's a spinoff of this, Army of the Dead.
I will hate that.
Lost Vegas.
Why does it have to be animated? We're adults. I don't want to watch cartoons.
I will watch it if it's animated. I read that it was going to be anime though, and I'm not a big anime person, but I do love like some Family Guy, some Simpsons. I can get down.
I want live action.
I mean, I would prefer that, but I'll give it a chance. And my final trivia note was that Snyder, the one interview I watched, he talked about like the camera lenses that he got off of eBay that created a small depth of field.
Lens. Oh my God, I hated it.
Well, but the way that he like described it, I don't know, I nerded out over this. But he like the whatever was closest to the camera was the only thing in focus, and like so like if Bautista's face was there, even his shoulders were kind of like blurred, and it was because it made the movie feel more claustrophobic. Which, if you think about it, if you're like existing in a zombie apocalypse, you're going to feel pretty claustrophobic.
It was distracting to me because I felt like my eyes were trying to focus the entire time I was watching the movie. It was like I honestly
didn't notice it until I watched this thing and I was like, oh, I guess it was like that.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's because I wear glasses and my glasses have, what do they call them? They're basically like starter bifocals because I'm bifocals. Old. They call them lifestyle lenses. And I'm like, don't church it up. They're bifocals. Like
you wear bifocal. You wear Benjamin Franklin bifocals.
Yeah, basically. You can't see them. They don't have like the line or like the little section. But
like if you look down, it's okay. Well, you wear bifocals is the thing.
Yeah, but they're like lifestyle lenses. And the whole time I felt my eyes every time I watched it. Like it was like a camera lens, like going.
Okay, I feel like that's when I just like wake up and have perfect vision. So like, I feel like
it might be like, but I did notice it.
See, I noticed it after that, like when it was addressed, like in this like trivia video that I watched. I was like, oh, good on you, Zack Snyder.
I also don't know if it's because sometimes like at night when I'm going to bed and I'm ready to take my glasses off, I'll just watch TV without my glasses, and I'm constantly trying to really see what's going on, even though I have terrible vision. And it felt like that the whole movie to me.
So your eyes are just like mistrained, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Could be that.
They need help. They're sad eyes. Is that it? That was your last piece?
That was my like last bit of celebrating trivia that I wanted to like mention.
I want to talk about, which I guess is sort of in trivia, and I wanted to ask you more about it. Have you read anything about the time loop? And did you know any of this trivia before you went in to watch this movie?
I did not look any. I didn't look up reviews. I didn't look up trivia. I watched the movie without my phone. I didn't look at my phone once.
So you legitimately just enjoyed this movie for what it was as you're watching it. It didn't bother you, like even not knowing. And I'm not being a smartass asking this. I'm genuinely curious. Nothing bothered you about the plot holes and like how they didn't like follow through on stuff? I couldn't concentrate.
I didn't pick up on that stuff. And when you like presented it to me, some things I was like, well, this makes sense because, but other things like I was like, I can understand like where that would raise concern for you, but it genuinely didn't come up for me while I was watching it. Like, well, why didn't they? I
Well,
just was like so focused on whatever action was happening at hand. I was
yeah.
like, this is amazing.
So when you heard the time loop conversation, did it not make you think, oh, that seemed really out of place?
It
Or
made
did you
everything click
think,
for me. I was
did
like,
you, oh, so you did think when you heard that, like, oh, I bet this is a time loop. So
yeah.
you thought that.
Yes.
Okay. See, like it never crossed my mind when I was like, that was the weirdest conversation. There have been zero hints up until this point, and they dropped this in the middle of the movie.
No, yeah, it made everything up until that point. I was like,
So do you think the visions or like the little montage they had at the beginning are really other time loops?
I think it could be, yeah. Because if like there were screen grabs of like the people in the hallway, like Snyder, like leading up to the vault, the skeletons that were there.
Others, yes.
Snyder had the people that dressed the set, made them look like same. The cast, and the one lady had the little key necklace on. But also the montage in the beginning when Tanaka's talking about it, like the locks on the vault were such a way, and then when they actually got to the vault, they were a different way. Which, like, you could just trump it up.
I thought that was just Dieter imagining how things were going to go.
It could be, but it could also lend itself to this, like, multiple.
So on my third time watching it, there were several things that were mentioned.
I just love that you watched it 3 times.
You don't know how sad I am that I didn't like it. Like, I'm
sad for you.
That because I was pumped about
the most pumped.
Yes. And they say things that don't make sense that I caught a lot the third time around.
Which again could lend itself to that.
But I'm going to be mad because it feels like Snyder was throwing as much stuff as he could into the movie. He drops this time loop hint. It is never mentioned again. There's literally one conversation about it. It's never mentioned again. The characters don't seem to care about it. Nobody else mentions it. That is not enough for me to be like, oh, maybe I should look into this more. If it was not, I think that this is all a ploy by Zack Snyder to get us all talking about it. So we talk about it a ton. So everybody goes back and rewatches it a bunch, and then he can get his money for the next one.
I think he was just setting it up he's clearly setting up a franchise here.
So, but I don't think he did it in a good way, which I don't know if I should keep this for the ratings are in or if we should. Because I feel like the ratings are in.
Ratings are in. The ratings have been in since we started, I think.
It's no secret that this is like a lights camera, absolutely not for me. And there are several reasons as to why I don't like it. And I feel like they're valid. I feel like my reasons for not liking it are valid.
Opinions, there's a saying I won't use on this podcast, but your opinion is your opinion and you are entitled to it.
So one, we didn't get to know any of the characters. I didn't feel like I wanted to know them more. I wanted to know their backstory. I wanted to know why that soccer mom was so focused on in the intro. And then you never hear of her again. I thought she was going to be a main player. And then she just gets squashed by a trailer. And they're like, I don't even know her name. No clue. So mad about it. Why did they focus so much on her and not any of the other ones? There were tons of failure to follow up on plot points, which I've pointed out several times. And they didn't make good use of the Vegas setting. And this is what bugs me. The promo material was filled with neon lights, flashing lights, casino, like Vegas. When you think of Vegas, I just think of color everywhere. Just everything color. This was like dusty gray brown movie, the whole movie. There was nothing colorful about it. And it did not make me happy.
There's no lips. I'm sorry.
I know that's fine, but why did they prime it with all of these neon colors in the posters?
To get you like the bugs and those like zappers.
It's like, haha, tricked you. Haha, we tricked you. Gotcha.
What was that TikTok you sent me? Haha, Matt, we got you.
Haha, Sam, we tricked you. Haha, Whitney, we tricked you. That's what Zack Snyder's saying right now. The whole dream lens, I didn't like it because my eyes are weird, I guess. It didn't work for me, and it felt hard to see. The parts that could have been fun and exciting weren't capitalized on, like the rain zombies or the Saw, the UFOs, none of this. That it was like how to make the opposite of a popcorn movie, even though this would have been a perfect popcorn movie. And it was like, what can we do to ruin it? What can we do to make Whitney sad? Is what. And they were like, we know.
That's what Zack Snyder wrote in his diary.
Dear diary, what can I do to make Whitney sad? First off, I'm going to mention these rain zombies. And then I'm not going to
live up to it.
Not going to show her any rain zombies. So even if the time loop theory comes into fruition, this is still a bad movie. It doesn't change the fact that this is not a good standalone movie. Now, when the other movies come out, I might like it more, but it's still not a good movie to me, because if you can drop stuff that the characters don't even care about, there is no way that I'm going to care about it. So one conversation about a time loop does not a franchise make. So there is
poetically said.
So
Yoda of you.
Yeah, it was like he was trying so hard to make this first movie to set up for all these other movies. And it's like, well, okay, but it doesn't work on its own. And there are several other franchises that do this great, like Marvel. I know it's a comic book franchise, but it sets it up great. You do not have to see any single other of the other movies to watch just one of any of them. They can work on their own just fine. And this movie does not do that for me. So I was big mad about it. Big mad.
You good? You got that off your chest now?
I don't know. I want you to just agree with me.
I know that's what you want, but like strap in, because I respectfully, of course,
I think it's because I don't understand.
Oh, it's okay.
It's because I don't understand.
You don't have to understand. Just like revel in my glory here. This is a lights camera, a resounding lights camera yes for me. I feel like this is a first on the podcast because I feel like we're like generally on the same page, or like if we're like yes or no, we're kind of like in the middle.
Yes.
But in this case, we couldn't be more opposite, and I just think it's so funny that like this is, because I texted Whitney having seen this and I was like, I watched it, what did you think? And it was just like, it was a wild conversation. Anyway, it's a lights camera yes for me. This is one of the best movies I think that I've seen in a long time, and it's certainly the best movie that we've ever covered on the podcast. I will be so bold as to say that. Okay, I'm going to be that person. There was not a moment I was bored or uninvested in the story. I didn't look at my phone. I thought the writing was smart. I thought the cinematography was brilliant. I loved every character, literally the opposite of Whitney's review. The setting alone was enough for me. And by that, I mean, I was really impressed with the zombies confined in an otherwise still standing society. I thought that was like unique, and I haven't seen a movie that's like done that before. Normally, I said this earlier, but normally like society falls and zombies have taken over, and it's just like, this is the world we live in now. Whitney, your face is she's so disappointed. Okay, I'm almost done. Army of the Dead is the perfect hybrid between a heist movie and a zombie thriller. There's action, comedy, and gore, and for that reason, I'm giving it a lights, camera, yas. And Whitney's gonna divorce me now. Thank you so much.
You take it back. This is not the best movie we have ever done on this podcast. My God, we have. You're covered...
right. That title probably has to go to a Kevin Bacon movie, but
I mean, I'll take that. I'll take Tremors. I'll take the freaking Hollow Man over this movie.
I was so pleased watching this. I was like, I can't wait to talk about this.
Were your expectations like in the dumpster for this movie?
No, I mean, I think my expectations were like reasonable. I was like, I saw the trailer like you did, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be awesome. And then like the movie lived up to those expectations and maybe even went beyond them. I wish everyone could see her face right now. I should just take a screenshot.
It's like, I don't know what to do.
I'm pissed.
I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Oh,
I am so disappointed.
That stings.
This is better. This is better than Insidious. This is better than The Conjuring.
No, but like you gotta like categorize them at this point, because like it's a zombie heist movie.
You said best movie we've covered on this podcast.
I said that to upset you, to be honest.
Oh God. I really almost just logged out when you said that. Really was almost just like, well,
the meeting is ended.
This is the end of Lights, Camera, No. We cannot move forward after this.
But what about all the other good stuff we have coming up?
Sorry, Grady. I'll just have a personal phone call with him instead. Yeah, I just am beyond disappointed.
It's fine. I think you're gonna live. I
will.
Do you want to move on to This Week in Horror?
I didn't even look up This Week in Horror movie news because I was writing my analysis
dissertation on the movie. Yes. That's okay. I got you.
Yeah. Okay.
I got you.
Excellent. I know I heard one tidbit, but it hasn't been verified, so I don't know if it's true or not.
Oh, what's your tidbit?
I heard in the horror movie Discord server, they were talking that they're going to bring a new movie in the Evil Dead franchise. It's going to be set in the city versus the country.
Well, that's exciting.
Or the woods. Sorry. Yeah. That should be really exciting. That's a great zombie franchise.
That is. Why haven't we done any of those?
The new one, the dog dies. Grandpa.
Well, we don't have to do that one.
We can do the
anyway. This week, a trailer for a movie called False Positive dropped. It's going to be on Hulu. It stars Alana Glazer, which is like a different setting for her. She's like, the funny girl from what is that show? Broad City.
Yes. Thank you.
So she's in it, and Justin Theroux is in it. They play a couple struggling to conceive, and then they seek out the help from this doctor played by Pierce Bronson.
I've heard of this.
Yeah. He manages to get Lucy 100% pregnant with a healthy baby girl, but as her pregnancy wears on,
probably the devil.
Something sinister is amiss. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she's carrying a devil baby.
Absolutely the devil. So that trailer dropped this week. Give it a watch. This is not necessarily horror movie news, but it was just a creepy thing that happened over the weekend. A car accident where a log went through the van's windshield happened, which is like everybody, if you've seen Final Destination and you're behind a truck that's carrying logs
immediately
or ladders or car, goodbye.
Yes.
Well, because it happens. Stuff like this happens. Okay, it happened this weekend. It's on TikTok. The video of the accident, if you want to see it, or the aftermath of the accident. I don't think the accident was actually caught on camera. That would be wild. On June 1st, Netflix is dropping a movie called The Wind, which is a 2018 horror movie set in the Old West, and it's apparently really scary. It's set in an unpopulated area of New Mexico. I don't know if it has anything to do with aliens, but it kind of sounds like it does, and I'm definitely going to watch it. And then another new movie whose trailer dropped this week called Last Night in Soho. It's being called the best horror movie of 2021.
Oh, I've honestly tempered my expectations anytime they say that, because
I mean,
it's like every
we'll
book.
See.
It's the next Gone Girl. No, it's not. It's not. It's just a mystery.
Calm down. Talk to me when it's the next. They
settle down.
But it's a psychological horror film from Edgar Wright, who did Baby Driver and Shaun of the Dead. It's being called, like I said, the best horror movie of the year, one of the year's most anticipated releases, and the girl from Queen's Gambit is in it.
Ooh,
Anya Taylor-Joy.
I like her.
She's the lead, so we'll see.
She is so unique looking.
She really is.
Yeah, I really like her a lot.
I like her too. Mm-hmm. But that's all I had for This Week in Horror.
Yes, I apologize for not being able to give you any other tidbits because I was too busy rewatching Army of the Dead.
It's okay. You did God's work this week, I think. Three watches, people. Snaps for Whitney.
Now, to be upfront, the first two were not. I didn't sit down and watch. I had to stop and start and stop and start, and it was the third time that I got to sit down and watch it all the way through. So, which is why I was.
Well, that explains a lot.
Well, I was so pumped, on Friday, because I started watching it. And then we went out with some friends and I was like, I have to pause this movie. And I got to my friend's house and I was like, oh my gosh, we were watching Army of the Dead. It is so good because I was only an hour in. And then I watched the second hour.
You've made your point.
So
We're done. Kim. We're done.
I'm sorry, Kim and Brian. I lied to you.
Oh my
God. Okay. Next week we are doing The Conjuring 2 because we are getting ready for the third one, which Yikes. I am nervous. I am nervous for The Conjuring 2. I've never seen it. And I'm also nervous for the third one.
You're going to hate it.
Yeah. When I laid in bed last night, I thought, I've got to watch The Conjuring 2 soon.
I just watched it a few weeks ago and I don't know if I want to watch it again. Maybe I'll just I don't know. I feel like I should, but I don't know if I want to not sleep for weeks.
You're in charge of the summary next week.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got The Conjuring 2 next week, The Conjuring 3 the following week, which will be on HBO Max. If you guys have any movies that you want us to review, you can always email us at lightscameraknow@gmail.com. You can find us on all the socials at Lights Camera No, except for Facebook. It's LCN Podcast. Lauren does a handy little write-up of each of our episodes. They come out on Fridays. You can find that at lightscameraknow.com. You can find us on any streaming platform on Fridays when our new episodes drop. But if you just can't wait and you want to see me and Lauren, what we look like when we talk and our facial expressions, you can always
disdain
me or my stress when Lauren says things like, this is the greatest movie we've ever covered on this podcast. You can tune in on Wednesday nights on Twitch at 7:30 p.m. It's twitch.tv/lightscamerano. So I want to thank everybody for listening/watching, and I hope you tune in next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Later, guys.